Welcome back to Latest Hoops, basketball fans. A few weeks ago, we talked about the possibility of Bradley Beal being traded to the Lakers. Back then, we liked the look of the move, but weren't sure the Wizards would be willing to pull the trigger and move on from their franchise cornerstone so soon into the Beal and Westbrook project. However, that project is looking like a major bust. The Wizards are 4-13 to start the season and have never really looked like they're going to turn things around. Westbrook isn't working out in Washington, and the Wizards may finally decide to blow things up completely and start over.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man? Bro, I'm out, man. That nigga's tripping.
If they do, Beal is the easier player to move. Westbrook is owed over $130 million for the next 3 years. That's a lot of money for a ball-dominant guard who hasn't made a team he's played on better since he dragged a relatively weak Thunder roster to the playoffs in his Why Not Me MVP season. By comparison, Beal is owed a much more manageable $100 million a year. He is also the more attractive trade option of the two. At 27 years old, Beal is 5 years Westbrook's junior. He is likely just entering the prime of his career. His career-high 34.4 points per game to start the season are a testament to this. And he should be an elite player in the NBA for years to come. His game is also far more suited to a career of longevity than Westbrook's is. Beal is a brilliant shot-up shooter and rarely relies on explosiveness to blow by opponents and get to the rim. That kind of game can be sustained far longer than Westbrook's all-out assault on the rim. An option he sticks with so doggedly because he lacks a reliable jump shot and is a streaky shooter at best. The Wizards have been treading water for a good few years now. Even before the John Wall injury problems, they were a team who were never more than a first or second round playoff exit at best. Since pairing Wall and Beal in the 2012-2013 season, they made the playoffs 4 times in 8 seasons. For a team featuring 2 elite backcourt players in 6 of those 8 seasons, that simply isn't good enough. The Wizards probably should have blown things up a while ago. However, they were determined to make things work with their superstar backcourt. Once the Wizards offered an injury-prone John Wall a max contract extension, they had little choice but to make it work. They were always going to struggle to move him on once he signed that contract, and the fact that they managed to after he missed 2 years of basketball is more a testament to how bad things were in Houston than anything else. Nonetheless, the Wizards brought in players like Davis Bertans, Robin Lopez, and Thomas Bryant in a bid to make the Wizards competitive and keep their backcourt happy. While Beal, for the most part, has seemed content to stay in Washington, it wasn't enough for John Wall, who left for the Rockets at the start of this season. The deal that brought in Westbrook has done little to change the complexion of the Wizards. If anything, they are worse. They are currently the worst team in the NBA, and despite Beal's previous remarks that he is happy in Washington, we're pretty certain he would move on if the right situation became available.
I can't do it for guys. I can only do it for myself. I can't do you guys' job. You guys can't do my job. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody has a role. Everybody has a responsibility. And we all got to do them. When we're guarding our man, your objective is to guard your man, help the next man, and vice versa. But for whatever reason, we don't do that.
We think the Wizards may decide to blow things up regardless of whether Beal wants to leave or not. When they do, we think a trade to the Lakers makes the most sense for all parties involved. The Lakers are aware that LeBron James cannot keep being superhuman forever. The King probably has 2 or 3 more years of elite-level basketball in him at most. So the Lakers are probably very keen to find Anthony Davis a long-term running mate to ensure the Lakers remain championship contenders when LeBron eventually starts slowing down. With Bradley Beal, they would have just such a player. Beal is a bona fide star in the NBA. He's the league's leading scorer this season, putting up 34 points a game across the 16 games he's played in. In those 16 games, he has scored 30 or more in 10 of them, and his lowest output is 27. He has the ability to go nuclear on any given night, as his 60-point performance in a loss to the Philadelphia 76ers shows, and is undoubtedly one of the top 5 shooting guards in the league. His defense has been cause for criticism in recent years, but most people think that is largely attributable to the fact that he has to carry the Washington Wizards' offense every night. Perhaps most crucially for the Lakers in the short term, Beal is effective off the ball as well as on it. As long as LeBron is at the Lakers and playing at the level he is, he will run their offense. However, LeBron is more than willing to pass. At the time of writing, he is currently leading the league in assists, and is also happy to defer to other players when he knows they can deliver. He demonstrated this in Cleveland when he was more than happy to let Kyrie Irving go to work in the clutch because he knew he could deliver.
Irving and Curry, one-on-one. Irving puts it up. It's good! Kyrie Irving from downtown!
Anthony Davis has shown just as brightly on the Lakers as he did in New Orleans, and we believe Beal could do the same. The trade would also offer the Lakers an opportunity to build a dynasty-like team similar to the one the Warriors assembled from 2014-15 to 2018-19. In that 5-year span, the Warriors won 3 championships and made the finals in 5 straight years. If not for injuries to key players in 1 year and a controversial suspension for Draymond Green in another, they would likely have had 5 championships. It's no secret that the only record LeBron has left to chase in his career is the 6 rings held by Michael Jordan. Many in the basketball world feel that if he ties or betters that, then he will go down as the greatest to ever play the game. Setting up a dynasty team with Bradley Beal and Anthony Davis would give LeBron James his best shot at doing just that. The Lakers came out winners last season with Davis and LeBron leading the charge. However, teams have retooled, and this year looks like a much tougher ask if they're hoping to repeat. Bringing in a third, game-changing player would automatically put them back firmly as the favorites to win it all again this year. We know LeBron isn't shy about pressuring franchises to get what he wants, and we wouldn't be surprised to see him lean on Jeanie Buss and the Lakers management to make a move for Beal if the Wizards make it known that they are willing to move their all-star guard. The Lakers also have the pieces available to make such a move happen. The Wizards team is full of young, talented players already. So if they decide to blow it up in Washington, it's likely that veterans on friendly contracts as well as draft picks will be what the Wizards go after in return for letting Bradley Beal go. And the Lakers have both of those. A move for Beal could see Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Dennis Schroeder heading to Washington. The Lakers also have several first-round draft picks available. The Pelicans have an option to swap picks in 2021 and 2023 as a result of the Davis trade. However, they are unlikely to use the swap as the Lakers' pick will be low in the draft as a result of their status as perennial contenders. As such, the Lakers could offer those 2 picks as well as the 2022 first-round pick they own in return for Beal. A starter and a quality rotation player, both on friendly contracts, as well as 3 first-round draft picks and a couple of second-round picks is likely a fair trade for Bradley Beal. The Lakers should be more than happy to give away draft picks for the next 3 years, given that the trade for Beal should mean they will be in contention to win a championship for all 3 of those years anyway. As title contenders, the Lakers are sure to attract veterans hoping to win a ring in the twilight of their careers, and so will be less reliant on draft selections to round out their roster. As for the Wizards, multiple first-round picks over the next 3 years increases their chances of finding 1 or 2 star-level players to rebuild around once they decide to start over. If they were able to move Westbrook in return for 1 or 2 more, then they really would be in a good position for a rapid rebuild. Another advantage for the Wizards in this trade is that moving Beal out west ensures no Eastern Conference rivals are strengthened ahead of the Wizards returning to being competitive in the NBA. The Washington Wizards will surely be hoping for a quick rebuild given that they haven't looked like anything close to a playoff team in the last 2 seasons. Given that, they are unlikely to be willing to move Beal to an Eastern Conference team where he could then become an obstacle in their rise back to relevance in 1 or 2 years. A move out west makes sense, and the Lakers are surely one of the teams best positioned to pick up Bradley Beal when he does eventually move on from Washington. Beal is an elite NBA guard who will likely have a long list of suitors in the league if he does become available. However, we think a move to the Los Angeles Lakers offers Beal a perfect mix of factors that make the trade the most sensible for both him and the 2 franchises involved. If Beal decides to move on, it will likely be because he wants to win and realizes he can't do that in Washington. He is unlikely to be able to win faster anywhere else in the league than with the LA Lakers, who currently sit top of the league off the back of a run to the championship last year. In addition, the opportunity to play alongside 2 of the best 10 players in the NBA and live in sunny Los Angeles make the deal too good to resist. It's surely only a matter of time before Bradley Beal and the Wizards have to face the hard reality that they aren't going to start winning anytime soon.
Gotta have some pride, man. It's a dog. Why no dog? Just kind of let teams walk over us, and that shit is frustrating.
Bringing in Westbrook hasn't worked, and the team isn't built to be competitive in the near future. Westbrook will be incredibly difficult to trade given the reputation he has picked up over the last couple of seasons. As such, moving Bradley Beal makes the most sense for a franchise that will want as many chances as possible to find their next star player in the draft while simultaneously freeing up cap space in the coming years to sign a star-level player should the opportunity arise. The best way to put themselves in that position is to move Beal to the Lakers in return for numerous first and second round draft picks, and 1 or 2 veteran players who will have a positive impact on the roster. We think this trade is becoming less a matter of if and more a matter of when. If the Wizards' abysmal start to the season continues, they will have little choice but to make changes. The easiest way to go about doing that is to move their star shooting guard. Look out, LA. Bradley Beal is on the way.
Enjoy the rest of my night. I'll see you guys at the practice tomorrow. It's almost time. Woo!
Like this video if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.
During and after games like this, what's the locker room like, at halftime and post game? I would imagine you guys are pretty frustrated.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's no laughter, there's no chatter, there's no, nobody's happy. Everybody's, I guess the only positive about it is it seems like we care, but it's we got to carry that over onto the floor, not after we got our ass whooped. It's kind of a frustrating part, but, we just got to stay together and keep chipping.